In Galakwena village are pleading with government to rebuild the collapsed bridge at the overflowing Zola River after heavy recent rains have just 100 kilometers away from Mokopane. They say the bridge has always been in a poor state and was reported to authorities, but nothing has been done about it. Now, villagers are unable to access critical services such as healthcare as well as public transport. Newzroom Afrika Zola Sholwana is there for us to give us the latest updates. Zola, very good morning to you. What alternatives are villagers now using since the use of that bridge is not in use?
Well, Kat, it's very difficult to get to other parts of town for these villagers. You'd remember that yesterday we saw some work being done where an excavator was laying some soil on the bridge so that cars are able to move from the village right across towards that direction. As we understand that that's where most people are going because schools are reopening. So those that were here for the holiday season, it's time for them to go back to school and their places of work. But as it stands, Kat, cars are unable to move. Those that are moving are actually taking a huge risk because it's really not safe for them to do so. If you're able to see right behind me, there's a number of people, and those people would catch a taxi that would drop them up until that point, and they have to walk from that direction and cross the bridge by foot. And that really is the reality of residents here in Waterberg district, particularly this village. We understand that they've had floods like this in the past, especially in 2021, where 20 lives were claimed. Fortunately, this time we haven't heard of anyone or any loss of life. Now, residents feel like government is not doing enough to really attend to this matter because by using that vehicle to lay the soil, that is not a permanent solution, not even a temporary, because it's not even safe because the structure underneath has already collapsed, Kat. So if anything happens or if it rains further than this, then it means that, this soil could potentially be heavy for the structure that's underneath, and we could possibly see the bridge collapse further than this. But we need to really engage with one of the community leaders just to take us through what is happening right now, just shortly after this car passes here. This is what has been happening since yesterday, but community members are saying they feel like it is not really working because cars are still unable to pass as it stands. Let's actually go to one of the community members, Kat, and speak to him because he's actually been engaging with authorities about the whole situation, essentially saying that this, this bridge was reported a number of years ago, and officials would come, run their assessments and inspections, and that would basically be it. But we saw, an MMC that was here yesterday promising that something is going to be done. But of course, that's going to be quite a lengthy process because he talked about budget constraints. So thank you very much for your time. We're looking at the situation right now. It doesn't seem to be looking better. How are residents feeling at this moment?
Thobela mogashi le badudi le baboedi go gae seng ka le tshepisang sona go gore badudi ba borena ba tloa ba le ka ratlalelo e kgologolo because go sena tharollo le mamotla ka le bella ka tšila bone mo lo reng ditirelo di eme ditirelo tša maphelo a di eme ka moka di eme ka gola di taxi la bona ka morago gore di taxi di eme mošomo gore a o sana mo le re ka kgona go tswela pele gona ene le tlala le yona e jwa tšetho mo tsena ka gae jwatše so re be re gopela ebile ke gopela go department again le wena MEC gore re gopela gore le nko le tšeng di engineer tša maleba mo tseleng ya rena le re direle tsela ya maleba ya gonthe e leng yona sekontiri ene le dira sekontiri sa maleba ke a gopela ratšhweni gore please a nomete go botlhoko gore motsofadi a dule ka kwa tsela santse o tša treatment ya gae ko tleliniking ba ko sepetlele so o feletša palelwa then a dule mole e re bolela so mo be ke re kana ra tlo khanta mahu a mantši because of batho ba palela go humana treatment ya bona ke a lebo.
So the MMC rather, Onaleteng Maubane Abuale, some of the residents promising once again that they are going to rebuild this bridge. Are you hopeful that what he said is actually going to happen?
Mohashi ko botsa nnete gore a ke sana tshepo kudu mo departmenteng, even all the municipalities, because ke taba ya khale re reporter ba re tshepisitse o ka opola last year ka January ba tlile mo ba tlile ba re tshepisha ga botse gore ba tlo dira ba di bypassela taba ya bridge ka mo. So now ke another January mo eleng gore le gona still sa bolela same language ye santse re boletse last year or last of last year. So a ke sana tshepo kudu mo mmushong wa isho, then re be re gopela fela go nwa tshepo ya ka fela e ke na le yona e mo ratshweni ha e be yena a tla mo a re botse gore na tsela ye skontiri bo se thomaneng, then ke mo re ka bolelang le meleleng ke ya lebo.
Thank you very much, Sir. Kat, that was one of the community leaders essentially taking us through what the people here are experiencing and how difficult it is for them to move from one point to another. We've seen some of them have to take off their shoes because the road is quite muddy and they catch taxis on the other side, especially those that we understand are traveling back to Johannesburg for school and work. Really, the situation is, dire here if you had to ask Katlego. Normally, during the rainy season, people are told and warned to stay off bridges and also flooded rivers. But what happens when this is the only route that one can use to get to major cities at this particular moment? But residents remain hopeful that authorities this time will be moved by what has happened before it actually gets to a point where there's a loss of life. Kat, back to you in studio.
All right.